Coming up on this week's news, Trump tariffs start biting at the toll booth. We'll tell you where. Plus, we look ahead to April's toll increases across the mid-Atlantic states. And we get an update of that spring break traffic. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to this week's update of all that's coming down the pike. Nova Scotia has responded to Trump's tariffs by doubling the cost of tolls for U.S. commercial vehicles using the Quebecois Pass. That is a segment of the Trans-Canada Highway in Nova Scotia. That means a $15 toll is now $30 for each transit. Nova Scotia's Premier Houston made the announcement March 4 as he called Donald Trump a short-sighted man who wields power for the sake of it. On the other side of the continent, retaliatory toll hikes could hit British Columbia as well, as BC's Premier David Eby announced measures that could be adopted if the Trump tariffs, which are temporarily halted, go into effect in April. During a news conference at the British Columbia Parliament Thursday, Mr. Eby stated Trump had declared economic warfare on Canada. Legislation is set to be introduced this week that will apply new fees to commercial trucks transiting through BC to Canada. Eby stated that responding to the tariff threat requires every tool available. The transshipment fees for commercial goods moving through British Columbia to Alaska would be implemented should Trump follow through on his threat to reinstate tariffs on April 2nd. A slate of toll increases in the United States is at hand, with April 1st marking the start of new tolls on the Seaway International Bridge connecting Ontario and New York, and on the Delaware Memorial Bridge on I-295, a spur of the I-95 corridor connecting Wilmington, Delaware, with South Jersey and the New Jersey Turnpike. For the international crossing, tolls on the Seaway International Bridge will jump to $375 US for cars and $525 Canadian. For the Delaware Memorial Bridge, cash tolls are only increasing with an incentive to get drivers to buy an Easy Pass before the cashless tolling conversion happens on that bridge. That is expected to happen by the time of the next toll increase, which will happen no earlier than 2027. A bit farther south, the Pocahontas Parkway in the Richmond, Virginia area is expected to increase tolls on April 1st. Although no official announcement has been forthcoming, Global Via, the company that owns the parkway, has traditionally raised rates annually on April 1st. The township of Grosse Ile in the greater Detroit area is preparing to take control of the Grosse Ile toll bridge. The closing of the purchase is at hand, and the final bridge engineering proposals are due the city by the end of this week. You'll recall the township citizens voted last November to acquire the bridge from the local family that originally built that bridge in 1913. The township has already published new toll sheets, including a round-trip toll chart that will take effect April 1st, while the nearby Wayne County Bridge undergoes construction work. Once the Wayne County Bridge reopens, the one-way toll will be back in effect. For cars, one-way rates will remain the same as they have been, and truck tolls will now apply as well. The township has raised the weight limits on the bridge to 12 tons, with accommodations for weights up to 24 tons, but only outside of normal morning and afternoon rush hour drive times. In case you missed it, spring break is going into its second big week following the start of spring vacations last week. The bulk of colleges and universities across the United States are having their spring breaks this week and next. The exact date of the spring vacations depends, of course, on each school, and holidays will continue through the start of April, winding down by Easter, which is April 20th this year. Meanwhile, for those of you traveling, the American Automobile Association reports the average cost of a gallon of gas is holding steady right now, even slipping slightly week over week. Prices right now are at their lowest level for spring break in the past 4 years. And finally, the Pennsylvania Turnpike has begun removing old toll plazas now that cashless tolling is rolled out, which happened earlier this year. KYW Radio in Philadelphia reports the plazas are set to be removed along the northeast extension between Philadelphia and Wilkes-Barre this spring, and mainline plazas will be getting demolished starting in June. That will be in the Philadelphia area. Toll booths and plazas were made obsolete at the start of January after the PA Turnpike system went fully cashless. Coming up next week, could Trump administration policies now mean tolls on North Carolina's Cape Fear Memorial Bridge? We'll take a look at the real possibility that now exists. Until then, drive safely and avoid distracted driving. I'm Danny Pryor reporting for Turnpikes.com, the Turnpike Authority.